welcome to the BoshNRoll channel. If you want to support my daily Eternal Magic offerings while getting amazing perks like the BoshNRoll Discord community, have me play your deck on the channel, or listen sideboard guides before tournaments, check out the Patreon or YouTube membership program. This channel is possible because of these amazing sponsors. Check them out, all their links are in the video description. As always, thanks for being here. Let's go play some Magic.
Welcome back to the BoshNRoll channel. Today I'm playing Modern at the request of Patreon subscribers King of the Depths and Avocado. This is Goryo's Vengeance, featuring Ardyn the Usurper from Final Fantasy. Ardyn is the type of card that Reanimator decks love. It's a Reanimator target that reanimates more stuff. 5 BBB, so this is an 8-drop, 4/4. Demons you control have Menace, Lifelink, and Haste. It has the Star Scourge ability. At the beginning of combat on your turn, exile up to one target creature card from a graveyard. Doesn't have to be yours. If you exiled a card this way, create a token copy of that card, except it's a 5/5 black demon. So you reanimate this. Every turn you start a combat with it, you get to copy something out of a graveyard. It is a 5/5 black demon, which means it has different base stats than it would normally, but it does gain Menace, Lifelink, and Haste from Ardyn. And then you get to do a bunch of cool stuff with that. You know, Traxa is going to flip a bunch of cards. Fear of Missing Out actually gets bigger. It's kind of cool that Ardyn lands in the middle here, because Emperor of Bones and Fear of Missing Out get bigger when you make demon copies of them. Grizzlebrand gets smaller. Atraxa gets smaller. Ulamog, strangely enough, gets bigger because it'll see itself in exile when the token comes in. And the token will be a 15/15. A lot of things to keep track of with Ardyn here. Also, very importantly, that 5/5 doesn't go anywhere. You just get the 5/5 copy of it. That means you can convert Goryo's Vengeance, which is a temporary creature, into a temporary Ardyn, which becomes a permanent Atraxa, Grizzlebrand, Ulamog, Fear of Missing Out, or Emperor of Bones. It also doesn't say anything about non-legendary creature. Ardyn can get another Ardyn that's a demon. It will legend rule. The original Ardyn will die. If that one was coming in off Goryo's Vengeance, it was going to die anyway. And now you have a permanent 5/5 demon version of Ardyn who gains Menace, Lifelink, and Haste from his own static ability. Lots of cool stuff going on with Ardyn around. Emperor of Bones is a backdoor Goryo's Vengeance. You can Emperor any of these things into play as well, and do all the same tricks with Ardyn that you could do with Goryo's Vengeance. And outside of that, we've got Thoughtseize, Fatal Push, just good removal for the format, Malevolent Rumble, and Faithless Looting to set up the combo. Shifting Woodland is a sweet one. Shifting Woodland can become a copy of Ardyn, and then exile the original Ardyn that it originally copied to get a permanent Ardyn in play moving forward. This is one of many sweet little things you could do. Or, of course, it could just become Grizzlebrand or Ulamog and attack real big. This is normally an Esper deck, the Goryo's Vengeance shell, but we're not messing around with Solitude or Ephemerate. Instead, we are just hitting really hard. Let's do it. This is Goryo. I'm on the draw in round 1 with a 1-lander. There are 20 lands in this deck. There's Faithless Looting in my hand and Malevolent Rumble. I'm going to keep this. Misty Rainforest. Thoughtseize. We love Thoughtseize. I guess I should be getting Blood Crypt here, because Faithless Looting is my next round. If I know I'm going to draw a land, I'd rather have green than red, but I don't know that. So I'm going to lead on Thoughtseize, see what my opponent's cooking with, and then next turn, start the looting. Oh my goodness. Rennie's song, the song Unending. Flying, pro, white, and black. When it enters, deals X damage divided as you choose among any number of target creatures or planeswalkers your opponents control, or X is the number of lands you control. It would be fun to reanimate that. We are playing against Neoform, which means if I take the Rider, they can just pact for another one. If I take the Neoform, their whole deck is trash. I'm going to take the Neoform. Okay. We know what our job is. It's don't die. There's Hedge Maze. Dumping Veil of Summer. I'm glad they didn't have that one. It counters my whole hand. All I'm doing is seizing thoughts here. The opponent also stuck on 1 land. They do have a Hooties in their grip, though. All right, I'm going to Faithless Looting here. I'd like to hit my land. Challenge level impossible. Okay, Fatal Push, not going to be part of this game, and I'll discard a redundant Faithless Looting, and I'll miss my land drop and pass. Preordain, that card's pretty good. That's like the card I cast, except they see more cards and they get to keep them all. Garden of Freyalise. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's one unknown in their hand right now. Atraxa. Alright, I think I'm going to keep looting. I want to hit a land anyway, and most of the lands cast Thoughtseize. We did it. Okay, I'm going to discard 2 Atraxas and then Thoughtseize my opponent off of an Overgrown Tomb. It's all the stuff we knew about plus Planar Genesis. They can cast Hooting Mandrills starting next turn, and I am at 12 already. I don't really know what the Summoner's Pact package is in the deck right now. I'm not intimately familiar with how Neoform is constructed. Summoner's Pact looks pretty powerful, though. They need a critical mass of green cards no matter what, but they have them. I can't take it. If I take Rider, and they have to pact for Rider, they still have 2 green cards to ride if they find a Neoform. So it's Hooties to take off their backup plan. It's Summoner's Pact in case there's a card they can 2 to 4 that's good. Planar Genesis is a lot of looks at Neoform. I think I'm going to take the Planar Genesis. It's a green card, and it's the thing that does anything here. Obviously, if they just rip Neoform, I'm in some trouble. They have 2 giant payoffs in their hand. Hopefully that makes their combo more awkward than it could be otherwise. Breeding Pool. So they're going to hoot. They didn't hoot. Do they need that Hooting Mandrills to do something? All right, I'm going to fear of missing out discarding Ardyn. I think getting on this board is important to me. Discard Ardyn. Draw another Ardyn. Okay, I have multiple combats ready to go. I am Delirious, but I'm not really doing anything. Goryos? Not a Goryos. Malevolent Rumble can't hit Goryo. It can hit Emperor of Bones, who I can't play right now. And I think I'm going to play another Fear and discard another Ardyn. Right, there's Goryo. So next turn I win. I just need to get to next turn. I'll attack with Fear of missing out twice. In you go. Okay, opponent's at 15, which may or may not affect how many cards they can draw with Grizzlebrand. 14 would be a more comfortable number. Just gotta hope they brick. It's weird that this Hooting Mandrills isn't in play already, though. I'm very concerned about that. Okay, there it is. And Rider is here. That pitched the Pact and the other thing. All right, so now they're on board. They could have done this 2 turns ago and just didn't. And I think it would have won the game if they did. All right, Goryo targeting Ardyn. And let's go completely insane. Beginning of combat. Get back Atraxa. And each of these Fear of Missing Out combats will trigger Ardyn again. That's another thing in the deck I didn't mention in the deck tech. So I was about to reanimate multiple Atraxas. Cool. So Thoughtseize won me that game. These removal spells are not very good. Stopping them from interacting with me and with themselves is pretty good. Avocado did provide a sideboard guide that I'm mostly trusting. If there's something that I see is a little weird or I would do differently, I'll talk through it, but this is here. Avocado's been playing this list in paper at his local levels and has boasted a pretty strong record. Like, I think he's like 20-2 or something over the last few weeks. That's a good record with the deck. Okay, no defense from my opponent's hand, which snap kept 7, and a lot of chunkers, nothing really to do. Knowing the matchup, I'm going to mulligan this. All right, I will try this, and I think I'm going to get rid of the second Faithless Looting. I just trust lands more than I trust Faithless Lootings. Maybe I'm weird. Ooh, that's a land, but not the one I wanted. Okay. Fetch. Has to be red to cast this spell. I'd like the Malevolent Rumble next turn. I'll get Stomping Ground. Loot. Discard the backup looting and this Underground Mortuary. Ain't nobody got time for that. Am I dead? Yep, I look pretty dead. And now we get to see what their deck does. They pitched Planar Genesis and Eldritch Evolution. They got Galta. Put any number of creature cards from your hand onto the battlefield. Packed over the top. And we're going to see what creatures come out here. Xenagos, yep. And then I get blasted for 26. Sweet. All right, yep, that'll do. So Vexing Bauble, both the Shepherd and the Pact were part of that kill. And that's why that card is good. Do I just want all 3? At some point, I have to start cutting my own combo pieces to make room, but a matchup this extreme, it seems like I should just have every piece of 1-mana interaction I can have and not stop at 2. At that point, what to cut becomes the concern. I think I can live with 1 less Faithless Looting. Let's do it. Okay, no interaction again. Pretty good shots at my own combo, but if I rumble on 2 to set up a Goryo on 3, A, it could miss, and B, they win on turn 2. I'm gonna mulligan. I have like 10 good cards. Ugh. Okay. I really like this Thoughtseize. I really don't like the other stuff. I don't like that there's only 1 land. I will keep and bottom 1 of the rumbles. I have everything else I need to do here. I hope they don't kill me on turn 1. I don't even know if that's the thing they can do. Land is on top of my deck. Love to see that. Okay. I'm going to Thoughtseize them because this is the turn they're going to try to win. Bridgeworks Battle. Wow, their hand is actually really bad. Yeah, this is just 3 evolutions and a land. Or 2 evolutions, 4 lands, and a Summoner's Pact. I'll take the Pact. Okay. Setting up for a big smash on turn 4, which is later than I'm happy about, but at least I'm playing the game. There's the island. I'm actually not going to fetch because my life total doesn't matter and I do want to draw lands, and my tap land's already in play. Now I have the option. I could play Fear of Missing Out and guarantee that Ulamog is in my graveyard. I could also play Rumble first, which will generate 1 mana. If I hit any red source off the Rumble, then I can also Fear this turn. Do I want to high roll or just take what's in front of me? I'll get Blood Crypt. How many hits are there? I need to hit a red source. Blood Crypt's already out of the deck. It's just Stomping Ground. So 4, 8, 11, 12. There's 12 hits and 1 of them's already spent. So 13 hits. 13 goes into 51. Almost exactly 12 times. So I am like on expectation to hit 1 red source off of a Rumble. Will Ulamog even win if I play it? Nothing's in exile. Yeah, I think I'm actually going to Rumble here. Rumble could hit also a better monster for Goryo's next turn. It's not like I need this Fear. Look at that. Okay, now I can actually win next turn. I'll take Overgrown Tomb, and I'll play another Rumble. Or I could just fucking Goryo's. Don't worry, Avocado. I saw it. All right, now I win. Yeah, I wasn't even counting, like, if I hit a black source and just win. At beginning of combat, exile Ulamog, who comes in as a 15/15, and kill you. You're at exactly 19 life. Annihilate all your permanents. Okay, cool. I'm glad I took the Rumble line and let myself discover the combo. I'm sure anyone who's played a lot of Goryos, especially Avocado, would have seen that line a mile away. We found it. Don't worry. On to the next round. The BoshNRoll channel is brought to you by Tales of Adventure. TOAMagic.com has almost 100,000 unique cards in stock. They offer free track shipping on every order, plus next day or 2-day options when you have an event coming up fast. They offer on-site pickup at major Magic events throughout the US, so you're never scrambling before your tournament. Stop by their booth to buy, sell, or trade at upcoming regional championships, Magic Con, Spotlight Series, and more. I love their selection of individually scanned high-end cards that show you exactly what you're buying. And the best part is saving 5% on every order with promo code BOSH. From Ancestral Recall to Zombie Master, get what you need quickly and in one place at TOAMagic.com. Eternal lives here. I'm on the play in round number 2. My hand is monster heavy, but I've got a Rumble and a Bone Zone. I'll keep it. Avocado told me in preparation for this league that it's more important to have your colors under you than it is to surveil. And there is 1 surveil land, and it's only black-green. So, like, if you need red, just get the red. Don't worry about surveilling. Luckily for me, I have red, and my surveil land lines up with the fetch I should be making anyway. But if this was Overgrown Tomb, I would just use my fetch land for a red source. Bonus on 6. All right, we've got some Tron, Expedition Map style Tron going on over there. Tron decks are historically pretty good versus the graveyard, if they know they're supposed to be. I'll keep that land. That actually feels useful. That could set up actual swing next turn. I'm going to Rumble and hope I mill over a big threat. All right, impossible. I'll take Emperor of Bones, and I'll pass. I am holding 3 of my threats. But I did just set up for a big swing if I just milled an Atraxa or an Ulamog there. Eldrazi Tron. Okay. Got to think about Kozilek's Command. I don't have a removal spell for that, unfortunately. Faithless Looting's a good draw. Ooh, Thoughtseize Me is a line that kicks in starting next turn. I could just play 2 Emperors right now, hope I don't die, and then blast them with an Atraxa or a Grizzlebrand next turn. I think I'm going to need my life total. Look at Basic Swamp, Bone Zone, Bone Zone. I'm not going to exile anything, because I don't have to. And I like my graveyard right where it is. Thank you very much. Alright, hope I don't get combo cooked by this Flesh Raker. Something like Karn could mess me up, just grabbing a Tormod's Crypt. I have 2 Emperors. They'd have to decide where to put their energy if they're going to have a removal spell. Another Temple. Thoughtseize is pretty bad for me. Oh no! Yeah, if this takes the Thoughtseize, then I'm just not really doing anything. But Fear of Missing Out, Faithless Looting, and other Thoughtseize, anything like that off the top gets it going. Yep, Thoughtseize is gone. And now they know my hand is Garbo, but I have a bunch of 1-mana ways to change that. And even Malevolent Rumble is functionally 1-mana way to change that. I can Rumble with Black Floating. Why would you take the Thoughtseize if you're going to Chalice on 1? Alright, so I just got a card for no reason. I'll take it. These can both become 4/4s whenever I want. I'm starting to fall behind, but I've got some action in the tank here. Do I want to attack with one of them? If I attack with one, then a single removal spell lets them bash me really hard on the back swing, and I think I'd rather leave my wall of 4/4s up. Expedition Map. Hers is mine. Working on Tron now. I don't have another Surveil, but getting this fetch is good. I have 2 black already. Do I need 2 red for anything? Do I need 3 green for anything? I'll get the Blood Crypt. And I'm looking for Fear of Missing Out. I'm looking for Malevolent Rumble. I'm looking for Bitter Triumph. Let's go. All right, sick. I'll kill Thought-Knot Seer and discard Atraxa. That's just good deck building. Wow, Fear of Missing Out, another one. I'm going to go for it and put them in the spot where they must have Kozilek's Command or they get cooked. Okay. I think I'm just going to fire this. They can Kozilek's Command in response, and then a +1 counter won't be put on it. All right. They just don't have anything. Nice. All right. Handful of juice now. Goryo's Vengeance. Malevolent Rumble. Shifting Woodland. Emperor of Bones. Is Emperor of Bones better than Fear of Missing Out? It's close. I'll take Fear of Missing Out. I got a bunch of bones already. Oh, that's an enchantment. I just get them both. Easy money. Okay, here are these things. Attack. 4/4 and 7/7 coming in. Do I want to offer the trade with Flesh Raker? Not really. Yeah, this is Tron. They can still do big dumb stuff like Ugin or Karn the Great Creator, who gets Ensnaring Bridge, and then I gotta solve that problem. But that was a very good turn. Ugin's Lab. Exiling nothing. Some big Eldrazi's coming. All is dust. Yeah, that one qualifies as the type of BS. However, I have a Shifting Woodland now that can shift into some stuff. I can just hit them with Atraxa again from the Goryos this turn. I've got a lot going on right now. Okay. All right. So do I think Grizzlebrand will be better than Atraxa? Goryos cannot return Fear of Missing Out. So there's no like tricky multiple combat line to set up here. My opponent is at 9. How do I deal 2 extra damage this turn? ARDYN'S probably involved. Ulamog's obviously excellent. I could Rumble and then still FOMO and Goryo. All right, so I should start with a Rumble here. Yeah, I have everything I need for that. If I hit ARDYN, oh, I hit 2 ARDYN'S, sick. I would like Bloodstained Mire. That puts the 2 ARDYN'S in the graveyard. I get to hit a land drop. I think there's a still fetchable land in here. Yeah, there's one. Do I need 5 mana this turn? Maybe. Okay. So I can play FOMO. Okay, hold on. Now there are tricks with Fear of Missing Out. If I play Fear of Missing Out, discarding another Fear of Missing Out, then Goryo ARDYN. ARDYN gets back Fear of Missing Out. I am Delirious. Okay, sweet. Fear of Missing Out. Discard Fear of Missing Out. Goryo target Arden, begin combat, get Fear of Missing Out, discard Atraxa, which can come back for the next round, combat, attack. I would like, this is the beginning of combat. It's not when it attacks. All right, so I would like Fear of Missing Out to be able to attack again. It's the bigger one, and it has Menace and Lifelink. The opponent has to block Arden here just to not die, but then in the second combat step, they die really hard. Yeah, Arden plus Fear, like this is, I get the appeal. Okay, there's not a lot of sideboard here. A defense grid could stop them from Kozilek's commanding on my turn. Abrupt Decay and Meltdown can deal with Chalice of the Void, but Chalice of the Void turns off Thoughtseize and Faithless Looting, not the real stuff. The twos are my really important things here. I could just turn Fatal Push into Abrupt Decay, which can still kill some of their stuff, but also some of their different stuff. Like, now I can't kill Thought-Knot Seer, but I can kill Chalice of the Void. You know, there's some little mix and match there. They both kill Flesh Raker just fine. I don't think I'm going to mess with Meltdown. Though, if they do have a bunch of Relic of Progenitai or Tormod's Crypts, Abrupt Decay can still bust that. Bitter Triumph was the card that broke me out of that game, and killing their big Eldrazi, especially Thought-Knot Seer, is really nice. I think I'm just going to keep it light. Damping Sphere, obviously, is good against lands that tap for 2. Where do I even put that? Like, this could be in the deck for Storm, but it is very clearly a card that is good against Tron, too. I could shave on Thoughtseize and Faithless Looting. If they're a Chalice of the Void deck, that mitigates my risk there a little bit. Those are two things that could set up a monster. Okay, I like this hand. It's doing stuff. It's going places. Opponent has a Devourer of Destiny to start the game. They exiled a sweeper, a land, and a creature. So it's hard to deduce what they actually needed, because one of everything just went into exile. Another Fear of Missing Out. I'll set up my Surveil land here as they speedrun their way to Tron. Yeah, they have access to Tron. This would be a good turn to find that Damping Sphere that I boarded in at the last minute. Mortuary. Okay. Enjoy your 3 lands that tap for 1. If they have to take a detour and like Expedition Map for Boseiju to answer this, that's fine. That gives me a lot of time to operate. Or they'll just make Tron and play with them like their normal lands. Gotta do what you gotta do sometimes. Mind Stone. Okay, their next spell costs 1 more. Cool. Simply did not have a next spell. Unfortunately, this is stopping me from double spelling too. I would like to rumble into FOMO, but my sphere is slowing that down. I think I'd like to FOMO. That puts a thing on the board while making my hand better, where a Malevolent Rumble might do 0 of those things. And I have the Woodland. Turning that into Arden is one of the backdoors the deck has. Kogan's Lab, probably not going to exile anything because it still taps for 1. They do still have 5 cards in hand over there. If they just start casting Eldrazi on the fair and square, it's pretty good. Passing the turn. This is likely Kozilek's command being represented. Okay, here I can actually double spell. Rumble might get me Delirium, so I'm just going to hit that. I'd like Stomping Ground and to put Atraxa in my graveyard. I did not get Delirious from that interaction. I have Sorcery, Creature, Land in there. Fear of Missing Out, discarding Bitter Triumph would give me Delirium, but I think that's less important than having Bitter Triumph in my hand versus the known Eldrazi strategy. I Fear of Missing Out attacking. And now I'm in an interesting spot where if they're going to Kozilek's command for 2 in the end step anyway, I guess I can overload. Yeah, they can only exile, or no, it's for 3. So I should discard something that's not Atraxa here. Does that even make sense? Like, I could just discard this land and keep Atraxa with a discard available. I just don't want to lose all of my pieces to the card that they're telegraphing. And here they are tapping 5 mana in my end step. What could this be? Yeah, they're exiling Atraxa, looting, and Arden, and making 3 mana. Okay. We knew that was possible. Perhaps even likely. Karn. That one's pretty good. Tormod's Crypt costs 1 mana here. but it does arrive successfully in play. Ardyn, oh, we are so close here. If I Bitter Triumph discarding a Trex, I have Delirium. The Tormod's Crypt, obviously super annoying, but you gotta play your cards. I can only have 3 mana, so discarding the Ardyn and trying to copy it in response to Tormod's Crypt doesn't make sense. Alright, I'm killing Karn. Getting Delirium in the process. Combat. Alright, we're in there. Attack with my creatures. Each one will target the other. They can target themselves, but I think it's more fun this way. It's like they're working together. They're best friends. Just doing some damage here. Second combat. And this isn't optional. I couldn't decline the second one and wait for the third combat. There is a third combat, but they're not untapped here. Okay, I'll pass. They have Devourer of Destiny that can boop one of the Fear of Missing Outs at minimum here. Who can Eye of Storms? That's probably way worse. Right, they're adding 3 mana. They can cast a 4-drop here. Yikes. Okay, they are over the hump. Still without the Tormod's Crypt, we would have something resembling a reasonable plan here, but right now, it's bad shape. Right, end step fetch. Get Overgrown Tomb. I can't cast Atraxa in this deck. I can cast Ardyn. And I guess the best thing I can do is force the issue. Let's get this Tormod's Crypt out of the battlefield. Yep, that's how that works. And pass. I'm a combo deck. I'm not ready to concede just yet. I will fetch to get my F6 value. They have perfect info. I'm not bluffing anything. Ugin, drew a card. Another Ugin's Lab. And begin the beats with Thought Not Seer. Fleshraker, nothing to exile. Played around it by not having any permanents. Mind Stone. Dealing damage. Fear of Missing Out is one of the better draws. I think I'm out of lands. If I hit Ardyn... Or no, it's a discard first. Never mind. Doesn't matter. I can't hit Ardyn here. Oh god, is there a fetchable left in my deck? We're about to find out. Shit! Yeah, I thought we were out. But that actually would have been an Atraxa. Oh no, I don't have Delirium. It doesn't matter. Never mind, never mind. We lost the Delirium with the Tormod's Crypt as well. Okay, so they got over the hump there, despite my hot rip of Damping Sphere. On the play, I think Thoughtseize is probably pretty good. Yeah, I'm not really a believer in that Abrupt Decay. There's still one in there in case I need it. Let's do it. Thoughtseize into Loot Ardyn. I'll keep this. I'm going to get Blood Crypt to start. Seize you. A Warping Whale counters a sorcery. Karn, a bunch of Mind Stones, and Ugin. I believe it's Karn that I'm worried about here. If they put... Is it creature or card? Card. Okay, so if they put Ugin or under the lab, they could counter my Malevolent Rumble, but they develop Mind Stone instead, which makes sense. But I am going to get to Rumble underneath here. All right, now I can set something up. I'll get the Overgrown Tomb, Rumble away, Damping Sphere to my hand, or land. I think I'd rather have land. I'm trying to double spell this game. I do have a land already. The tower, the lab. Next turn, if I Faithless Looting, I'll have the spawn. Warping Whale exiles ones. So I could loot with 1, 2, 3 mana left. That's still not enough to Bone Zone. Yeah, I'll take the Damping Sphere. Talked myself into it. That is at minimum Stone Rain here, because they have a 2 mana land already. The other Mind Stone. Oh. Oh. Is a creature from a graveyard. There are no creatures in graveyards. I could Faithless Looting, discard Bone Zone and Ardyn, then Goryo, Ardyn, get back Bone Zone. I feel like I can do better if I take my time. Okay, Shifting Woodland, Emperor of Bones, Damping Sphere, exile the Karn from their graveyard. Next turn, I can loot and then bone. Ardyn doesn't work with Emperor of Bones all in the same turn, and there's not more creatures in there. It's got 5 mana right now. Expedition Map, they've cast a spell. Warping Whale, 1 unknown. Okay, let's see if they want to counter this Faithless Looting. They probably should. Why is it in their deck if that's not something they're willing to do? Yep, cool. That's fair. Exile Warping Whale, attack for 2. They can map in this end step. Ooh, they returned Ugin to hand. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, I don't think there's a way to play that Ugin this turn. But it is scary that it's there. They have a land. Another Emperor. Alright, I'm going to cast Faithless Looting again. That one worked. I think I want to discard Arden and a land. Arden plus land. Play a land. I can do the Shifting Woodland trick next turn, so I'm not going to exile Arden. I'm going to exile nothing. Attack with the Emperor. I don't want to get double spelled and lose all my Emperors next turn, so I'm just going to not play a card here. Maybe I'm supposed to activate. Yeah, they're guaranteed the 7 mana. Yeah, Power Plant, tutored. Goryo's Vengeance is an instant, but Arden doesn't help a lot in my end step. Though, that is generally how this exile things work. Okay, so I can fetch a Surveil land in the end step. Gain 3 life, draw a card. Okay, end step Surveil land. Hope to hit any big monster here. Yes, alright, put that in the graveyard. End step Goryo, Arden. It'll stay through next turn. And then I can Faithless Looting, move to combat, hope everything I ever wanted in life happens. Alright, oh yeah. Faithless Looting. Flash that back. Let's go! Okay, I'm gonna put away Atraxa Arden. I didn't hit a Fear of Missing Out, which is what I really wanted. I could delete this Arden for a permanent one, but I think I'd rather just Atraxa here. I do have exactly enough power to kill Ugin. Fear of Missing Out is my enchantment. Shifting Woodland, Arden, Emperor. Thoughtseize is pretty good, and I can cast it this turn. Thoughtseize. Do I need 2 Shifting Woodlands? Probably not. I'll take the black mana over that, and I still get a creature. I think I want Ulamog. That's just the one that wins next turn. Okay, attack. All creatures attack Ugin. This Atraxa is not going anywhere. This is a permanent demon. It will lose all its abilities when Arden leaves play. But it'll still be a 5/5 Atraxa. Dismember and Sire. Ulamog will beat Sire. They have to annihilate 10 counters. Yeah, I'm more worried about Dismember than I am about Sire. Alright, their hand is Waste and Sire. Pass the turn, Arden goes away. Atraxa is still here. It will cost all their mana to cast the Sire. There's the Waste. If memory serves, I looted into this Goryo so they don't know about it. I think that is true. They don't know these 2 cards. They do know these 2. Okay, just passing. Did they draw the Kozilek's command, or is this some kind of bluff? And how do I play around each thing if they are true? I could just play Emperor of Bones. Okay, I'm going to play around Kozilek's command by playing Emperor of Bones here. I can target Atraxa with it, and if they act, then I can... Okay. Emperor of Bones. If I try to move into combat, they might kill the Emperor and attack my graveyard before they do that, and if they do that, then I can Goryo Arden. Move to beginning of combat. Okay, they didn't respond. And let's just put Atraxa under there. Set up a reload for next turn. And they might Goryo or Kozilek's command now. All right. That is what's happening. That was a pretty good draw, but luckily I've got options here. This does unfortunately delete my whole graveyard. The Arden's gone as well. Though they have to kill Emperor of Bones and exile my graveyard as modes here, or else I just resend next turn. I don't know if they can afford to do that. They might need to draw cards. Yeah, Scry's X draws cards. Exile up to X cards from graveyards. All right, in that case, do I Goryo for the reload? Goryoing now on Arden doesn't do anything. Next turn, my plan is Fear of Missing Out, discard Ulamog, activate Emperor. So yeah, I can Goryo for a reload right now. I have to keep the smaller Atraxa, unfortunately, because that's the one that's around for good. Though that does put Atraxa back in my graveyard, not being targeted by Kozilek's command. That was sick. All right. I am happy with that. All right. Enchantment. Would I rather Thoughtseize them or be able to rumble? I think I'd rather Thoughtseize them. Emperor of Bones and Ulamog are the creatures I have here. I've already identified Emperor of Bones as being pretty important in my life. There's actually an artifact here and an instant this time. That's lucky. Okay. Bang, here's these things. You get to do what you're going to do. Yeah, the Flicker Grave Atraxa out of the graveyard and immediately back into it is a sweet little trick. They do get to look at 7, 8 cards here. It's scry 6. If they don't like any of them, they draw a random one. They go to their turn and draw a random one as well. All right, they went 1 top, 5 bottom. At least one good card over there. I'm going to discard the redundant Damping Sphere. I could use... Maybe I just discard Atraxa, actually. I'm trying to protect the Ulamog. All right, yeah, I'll discard Atraxa. Just build my own Entomb. The graveyard is where I want the Ulamog, but I think I need to, I don't know, chill or... Like, if the Ulamog gets exiled, I suddenly don't have a plan of any kind. Ugin gets to exile either one of these, potentially both. Okay, Ugin exiles that one. Gain 3 life, draw a card. They'd have to have a 0-cost card right now, which they do not. Okay, it's my turn again. I've got a Malevolent Rumble. I think here I want to Thoughtseize. That's 1. FOMO's then 3. Bitter Triumph I can play on their turn and avoid the tax. All right, I'm going to start with Thoughtseize. We gotta know. Fleshraker Expedition map, Sire. I'm not convinced I care about any of these, but I guess Sire is the scariest one. All right, Sire's gone. I can also use Sire with Arden. If I Rumble, that's 2 spells. It costs 3, and then I can still Bitter Triumph on their upkeep to kill Ugin. All right, I'm going to Rumble. I'll take Wooded Foothills. That puts an Ulamog in my graveyard, which is what I've been trying to do this whole time. Attack my opponent's life points directly. I believe there's still a forest in my deck. There is. Okay, pass, and I think I'm just going to pay the 3 life. Having Mildover and Ulamog there, now I don't need to really do anything else. Okay, they're cracking some Mind Stones in response here. If they hit Kozilek's Command or some other instant, we saw 1 in their deck, the Warping Whale. If they hit something like that, they could exile Atraxa on the way out here. Ooh, they're spending mana. It looks like they hit 1. This Atraxa is not really my plan, but it is a bummer to lose it. I'm 1 mana away from Fear of Missing Out, discarding Ulamog, and shifting Woodland, just turning into it. Okay, they did hit Kozilek's Command. They are making spawns and exiling Atraxa and Ulamog from my graveyard. And exiling Atraxa from real life as well. Okay, Ugin is dealt with. They've cast 1 spell already this turn. A land kills them with Ulamog here. Nice, okay. Shifting Woodland enters untapped. Fear of Missing Out costs 2. Emperor of Bones costs 3. And then its activated ability costs 2, and Ulamog will make them sacrifice their permanents. We've been dancing around this for like 4 or 5 turns now. Smell you later, all your permanents. Cool, that was actually a really sweet back and forth match. A lot of cool tricks. Setting up long-term plans while applying short-term pressure. Feels good. I am very glad I ended up putting those Damping Spheres in at the very end of sideboarding in game 1. Found the room. On to the next round.
This video is sponsored by Moxfield.com, the easiest way to build Magic decks online. Moxfield supports over 30 formats, including Legacy and everything else you'll see on this channel. There's multiple customizations so you can interact with your deck how you want. Views such as text, grid, or stacks. And groupings like type, subtype, color, color identity, even artist. The site offers light mode, dark mode, and so much more. However you want to see your deck, Moxfield can provide it for you. Follow my Moxfield to keep up with the channel and what I'm playing in paper. I'll see you there.
I'm on the draw in round 3 with a hand even I can't keep. Just doesn't do anything. Mulligan. I like this one a lot better. I'm going to keep this and get rid of Bitter Triumph. If I knew the matchup was about creatures, maybe I'm more interested in Bitter Triumph. Very well. It's some version of Tron or Eldrazi again. Maybe I would have liked Bitter Triumph more than Fatal Push or the Second Emperor, now that I know that. But in the blind, I'm okay with that. They exiled Thought-Knot Seer, Devourer, and Ugin Slab. So land, mid-range creature, and endgame creature all in exile. Impossible to know what they actually need or want in their life from that. Okay, I have a plan now to win this game. FOMO dumps to Ulamog, Emperor hits with it. That's a turn 4 situation. The Devourer is under the Ugin's Lab now. And Kozilek's Command is such a bullshit card. Alright, I'll dump this to Traxa. That gives me a freebie. The old build your own Entomb. I think here I want to play Emperor of Bones and force the action on a Kozilek's Command if they have it. Right now, Kozilek's Command can exile Atraxa, but it can't kill Emperor of Bones. If I can just bank something in here, that's like Karn wishing for Tormod's Crypt and future Kozilek's Commands I don't have to think about anymore. It's just so dumb that the Modern Horizons 3 design team decided that Tron and Ancient Tomb and Workshop strategies should be subsidized with a powerful, flexible spell that does everything those decks could ever want. Why? They go 1-2-7. There should be some cost to doing business if that's how you build your deck, and it should be that you don't get hyper efficient card selection and removal. All right, there's Karn. Played around that as much as I could. Karn's making a wish. Tormod's Crypt. All right, well, I'm just gonna freaking attack Karn for 4 this turn then. Goryo. Okay, so I can double dip on a future turn if I hit a land in time. Exile your Kozilek's Command. Can't have that again. Attack Karn. No blocks. Wake this up. Still just a 4/4. Okay, so from here, I can set up situations where I fear of missing out, discarding Ulamog, move to combat, target it with an Emperor, they Tormod's Crypt, I Goryo's over top. Ulamog is greatest mana value among cards in exile. I had to check if that was cards or creatures. It is, in fact, cards. Okay, I'm gonna move to combat, exile Karn. I missed my land, which I'm not stoked about. Attack with Emperor. Do I think they would just Tormod's Crypt without a trigger on the stack? And does it matter if I think that? I think I should invest the second Emperor here. No, I think it is fear of missing out. I would really like to hit a land drop. I wish I knew I was drawing a land, then I could discard the Ulamog fearlessly. Alright, I will discard Ulamog anyway. I did draw a land. Okay, if they just Tormod's Crypt now, the Ulamog is gone, and there's not much I can do about it. But now I am in a spot where I can fake it till I make it, where I play this Emperor from hand, target Ulamog, they crit me in response, I Goryo's and they die. Yeah, they just bought their Devourer back. This could delete my FOMO. Oh, all is dust, sure. They should crit me now. If they don't, they're in trouble. Alright, I'm not going to fetch in the end step, because now the lock is in. Emperor of Bones. Beginning of combat, target Ulamog, the Defiler. Tormod's Crypt, fetch in response. Basic Swamp, Goryo's. Smell you later, all your permanents. Nice. Yeah, just building the layers of protection and not sending it into obvious interaction, or even, in that case, face-up interaction. Oh, we've done this very recently. Fatal Push out. I had a Looting out. I had a Thoughtseize out for the second Decay in game 1 last time, but I still think Thoughtseize is one of my best weapons. No respect for Chalice of the Void. Alright, well, we've got a full house. Thoughtseize is full of monsters. I'm going to keep, because Thoughtseize is so good. And I have lots of ways to move these monsters around, as long as the deck cooperates even a little. Map. Are on their way up to Tron. Thoughtseize. Target you. Whoa. Portent of Calamity. Reveal the top X cards of your library. For each card type, you may exile a card of that type from among them. Put the rest into your graveyard. You may cast a spell from among the exiled cards without paying its mana cost, if you exiled 4 or more cards this way. What? Okay. I'm still not sure I understand what this card does, but I am going to take it. There's a Dismember over there that I got to pay attention to as well. Literally, what does this card do? Okay. I'm going to make an effort here. Reveal the top X. For each card type, you may exile a card of that type from among them. Put the rest into your graveyard. You may cast a spell from among the exiled cards without paying its mana cost. If you exiled 4 or more cards this way, then put the rest of the exiled card into your hand. Okay, I just blacked out before that last sentence. Okay, So this is like a draw X. This is a Traxa basically. And then if X, or not if X, if you exile 4 more cards, you get one of them for free. All right, it's an Atraxa, X spell Atraxa. Whoa, man, magic cards. Here's the Talisman of Dominance. Underground Mortuary. I was going to fetch that this turn. All right, I will play this Mortuary first. I don't want Verdant Catacombs. Do I want to Thoughtseize the Dismember? No, I can do that anytime. I can Thoughtseize Dismember anytime, and if Thoughtseize gets better next turn, then that's just good news for me. Ugin's Lab, no exile. They have 4 mana or 5 for Eldrazi right now. Goryo. Interesting. Thoughtseize myself is now extremely tempting. Dismember does not beat Atraxa. If they randomly ripped exactly Kozilek's command, I'll be bummed out. I think this is good enough to just blast an Atraxa at them. All right, Thoughtseize myself. They get to see my terrible hand, but that's okay. Ooh, they're responding. Do they think I'm Thoughtseizing them? Oh my god, they think I'm Thoughtseizing them. Wow, what a bleed. I had the same problem the other day. I was recording a Vintage League and somebody Ancestral Recalled targeting me with Bowmaster out, and I was out too, and I thought they were Ancestraling themselves, and I let it resolve. Okay, well, that went as good as it could. They drew the best card they could have, and they didn't see what I was doing, so I get to do it anyway. Unless they have just spun into another Kozilek's command. They went 2 top, 1 bottom. All right, Atraxa's in. Awkward, but we'll take it. That wouldn't happen in paper because you have to clearly announce who you're targeting. On Magic Online, it's much easier to not check the chat box and just assume you're getting Thoughtseized when your opponent casts it, because that's the most likely thing. A Goryo, FOMO, land. I still have a basic swamp and forest in my deck, so Catacombs a little better. And do I want Rumble or looting? I think with this hand I want looting. Okay, done. And I will attack for 7. They did just keep 2 cards on top. That's not great for me. But I have the fear of missing out with the Goryo here. We can set up some big stuff if they ever tap out. And we're now quite confident they don't have Kozilek's command in hand, or they hit it on top last turn. Right, Karn can get the Tormod's Crypt, or maybe they go for like Ensnaring Bridge this time instead. Tormod's Crypt it is. The trick with that is that Tormod's Crypt doesn't beat Goryo's with Atraxa, because I get to reload no matter when it happens. Okay, they've banked Tron for next turn. Grizzlebrand, yeah, we love this many creatures. Right, Fear of Missing Out puts something on the board, but I could looting and still play Fear of Missing Out this turn. That tapped me out of Goryo, though. Right, I'm going to play FOMO and discard Atraxa, though Grizzlebrand does a lot more. Now, I think Atraxa, I'm happy with that. And I'm going to leave up the Goryos here in case they get antsy again and just fire the Tormod's Crypt. They lost last game because they didn't crypt me in time. If they get nervous. Oh, shit. I just was like busy narrating, but that's fine. I have looting Goryo in my hand. I set up that whole play. Like, haha, look how smart I am as I click through the Tormod's Crypt activation. And I still got big stuff going on, though, in my hand. They have Tron now. They still have Dismember. 2 unknowns, plus whatever this Karn wishes for. Sundering Titan, we're fucking dead. Okay, this Verdant Catacombs is going to have to win me the game. Okay, they get to kill a swamp, forest, and mountain on my board. Yeah, those wheels came off pretty quick. I think I should draw for turn, because I am trying to hit lands. Ulamog. Stomping Ground. It's only the basics left after this. Faithless Looting. Discard Ulamog and Arden. And if I hit my basic swamp, I can, in fact, win this game still. Okay, they're just randomly dismembering my FOMO. I guess me getting an extra combat does matter if I rip the swamp and do Arden stuff, but that Dismember being gone makes Arden now a game plan. The Rekarn. Do they have another piece of graveyard hate they can get here, or something that kills my Stomping Ground? Like if they kill their own Sundering Titan. Yeah, Trinisphere. All right, I'm dead. I have no outs. Disappointing. Yeah, all right. They did a good job, and I did a bad job setting up that play and then just clicking through it because I was narrating. Okay. Locked me out for Xaxes. I think this is still the deck. I like the development here. I'll keep it. I'm just going to fetch my Undercity Sewer and then Rumble on the next turn. Unless I draw something better to do. Like, I would probably cast Thoughtseize if I find it. Another Rumble. I'll take it. Okay, Rumble. Oof. Oh no. This is all my red lands. Am I just supposed to fetch Shock first? God, that feels very unlucky, but okay. I will take the Blood Crypt. Yeah, this deck has 2 red duels in it. Yeah, maybe I'm just supposed to take the damage. Fetch Shock to make sure exactly that doesn't happen. Okay, they've got 3 mana for Eldrazi, 2 for normal stuff. Faithless Looting's not that good here. Alright, I'll send another Rumble. Fear of missing out on Atraxa. We've now hit some buttons. I could put the Atraxa in the box right now, or I could fear of missing out, invest in the future. If they have Dismember right now, they can take my Atraxa forever and my Emperor of Bones. I don't like that. Right, I'm going to play Fear of Missing Out and discard this Wooded Foothills. Yeah, that seems like the worst card in my hand. I do have Delirium. They do have Dismember. Okay, we played around that correctly. I can present an Atraxa next turn. I was about to say they need Ugin's Labyrinth to play Karn this turn, and they have it. But they didn't exile. That's good. Thought Not Seer. That's going to take my Emperor of Bones. That's not a graveyard hate spell, though. And with Faithless Looting, I get a lot of looks at a Goryo's. I even have enough mana to loot into another Emperor. All right, come on, deck. Deliver the goods. Immediately, right off the tippity top. Do I want a Faithless Looting and try to do better on this turn where the shields are down? I think I do. If I hit an Arden here, we're just in business. Oh my god. Okay, what's in exile? Anything? There is an Emperor of Bones in exile. So Ulamog would be Annihilate 2 if I did that. And fortunate not to hit Arden here. That really is the best one. I think I'm going to discard Faithless Looting and Ulamog and hide the other Atraxa. Though Faithless Looting, if I Atraxa now, Faithless Looting might set up more stuff. Annihilate 2. I don't think that's that good. It's close because it's 50-50. They either lose half their mana or they lose Thought Not Seer and I draw a card. But I don't think that's better than Atraxa just ripping it. Okay, Atraxa and Looting will be discarded here. Goryo, the Atraxa. I'm going to leave colored mana available in case I hit another Goryo's here. I did hit Fear of Missing Out, Arden, Thoughtseize, and a land. Not bad. I'll take them. And Thoughtseize you. What's going on over there? 2 Kozilek's commands. All right. Glad we caught this on a tap-out turn. The second one will be annoying, though. Attack with Atraxa. And I can use Shifting Woodland next turn if I play it now. And it works with Arden anyway. All right, I'm going to play my Overgrown Tomb tapped and save the life. It does just randomly matter a little bit right now because they have a creature in play. Ugin's Lab, number 2 out of 3. Hey, do they want to main phase a Kozilek's command to play around Goryo's? If they command now, they could also take my Lootings, which are main phase plays for me. That could help me find the next important thing. I would love for them to spend Kozilek's command right now. The Talisman's in. They can command for 2, which is plenty. Now I've got some choices. I think I'm going to fear away the Wooded Foothills. I have a land drop to make. Bitter Triumph. Sweet. Okay, Shifting Woodland go in. And now I'll pass this turn. If they do a proactive Kozilek's command to take me off Delirium, take out my Faithless Lootings, and exile my Atraxa, now I can immediately reset it. Or at least immediately rebank a monster. I have the follow-up. Yeah, I have Shifting Woodland. I can rebank a monster and then shift into that monster. And now there is a 7-drop in exile. But I wouldn't be casting Ulamog. It wouldn't get the counters. Or it wouldn't be entering. So it wouldn't have Annihilator. All right, yeah, it's not even that good. Okay, command, they are scrying and drawing and exiling Atraxa and Faithless Looting. Great. Great. I love it. There are enough lands in the deck to cast Arden, theoretically. However, I milled over 2 of them, so I actually can't cast Arden. Another Talisman. They have Ugin's Lab in hand. That Kozilek's Command went bottom last turn. That's good. Okay, they were afraid to fight. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna kill Thought-Knot Seer, discarding Arden, and then try to blast their shit with Shifting Woodland. All right, Bitter Triumphs in my hand. Main phase. This will become Arden. Move to combat. Oh, they're so dead. I'll get Fear of Missing Out, which now will give me multiple additional combats. And an Ulamog will arrive on the second combat. And you are out of here. Untap Arden, untap the bigger FOMO. Pew, 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 pew. And although the creatures won't attack on the third combat, Arden will trigger again. Nice. Okay, nice. Navigating that one again after messing up one of the earlier games. But that does feel like as long as you know what to do around a Kozilek's Command, you've got plenty of options. On to the next round. The BoshNRoll channel is proudly partnered with the Resleevables. In this YouTube series, hosts Patrick Sullivan and Patrick Chapin go set by set through Magic's past, leveraging their decades of experience as Pro Tour players and game designers to analyze the good, the bad, and the ugly of Magic's history. Each episode is a deep dive into the facts, mechanics, cycles, trivia, decks of the time, and historical context of the set. The hosts dig into notable cards of the era and their lasting impact today. Each set gets an award show where the hosts pick their favorite cards for categories such as Best, Worst, and Weirdest. And finally, give a letter grade for the set's overall success. Whether you want a history lesson or a nostalgia hit, The Resleevables has it at youtube.com/theresleevables. I'm on the play in round 4. I like my hand. I can start moving cards around pretty quick here, and I even have a plan to bring one of them back. A Watery Grave. Am I getting Thought Seized? Oh, a Tamiyo, sure. Alright, our first counterspell matchup. Blood Crypt, Fear of Missing Out. I think Fear of Missing Out is better than Bitter Triumphing this Tamiyo here. Just develops better. And if they're spending mana on clues instead of counterspells, I'm okay with that. I don't even think I'm that worried about a flip Tamiyo. Here she comes. Urza's Saga. Alright, they got a sweet deck. I don't know what it's doing, but it's sweet. Cool. Oh my god, look at this. We're in some sort of Goryo's mirror where I can Emperor of Bones their shit. Oh my god, this is crazy. What do I do now? I think I want to kill this Emery, though I don't know that I can afford to do that. I think I'm gonna operate with the plan of Bitter Triumph something if I need to, and then hit them with their own creatures starting next turn with my Emperor of Bones. Wow, opponent's deck looks amazing. There's no artifacts in the graveyard. I'm not in a hurry to kill this Emery. Mox Opal, Tamiyo going in, another Emery. All right, they're just looping here. Should I kill this one now before it can target anything? I think I should. And I already have an Arden in the graveyard, so I am going to pay the 3 life on this. Okay, that's dead. Then they mill. Another Saga. So here I'm worried about a counterspell. You know, removal spell's also not great. Okay. Oh, wait. It doesn't... Oh, I don't have Delirium. Man, Delirium. It was smart of them to put a gate on Shifting Woodland, or I would already be going nuts. But if they... How do I get there? I guess I just play Emperor of Bones and hope it works. Oh, it doesn't work all at once. I can't Arden them this turn. I can Grizzlebrand, though. Or Borborygmos them. They're just conceding to Emperor of Bones. Not interested. Sweet. Alright, thanks for the graveyard. We're playing against an incredible brew. I don't know what to make of it right now, but I am excited. Meltdown seems reasonable. Defense Grid versus a blue deck. I'm not really interacting with them except through Thoughtseize and Emperor of Bones. Defense Grid, maybe one Meltdown, just in case they go wide with Saga, but that doesn't seem like their primary plan. Nature's Claim can blow up Sagas. Maybe I do engage on this Nature's Claim lane rather than the defense grid lane. I'm just worried that I saw blue mana and getting cooked by counterspells is annoying, but I have Thoughtseize in enough redundant ways to present problems for them that maybe this is the better way to go. I do want to avoid over sideboarding because there's not a Jund control deck here. It's not like I can cut 6 monsters and bring in Abrupt Decays, Fire Magic, Vexing Baubles, etc., etc. They did show me at least Tameo and Emery for pushable creatures. I think I'm going to try to ignore that and combo over the top of things like that. I'll leave my Bitter Triumphs in because those are a good catch-all. It's possible the blue is in their deck just for the creature package and it has nothing to do with counterspells, and I'm going to lean into that possibility. I'm also going to lean into this hand with powerful sideboard cards, powerful main deck cards, and a plan to move my game forward. We've got it all. Opponent mulled to 6. Tameo is not Thoughtseize. Deal. Goryo. All right, well, I have a plan for turn 3 already. I'm going to get Blood Crypt and Thoughtseize my opponent. Psychic Frog, Shieldred. I'll take the Psychic Frog out of there. Their hand is Shieldred and some lands. That can change quickly with Tameo, though. There's the Mire. Backup Goryo. All right. I'm going to faithlessly loot. Discard 2 Big O's. And I have presented the game-ending combo. Please don't break it up. I do have one YOLO play here. I'm actually going to send it. And the play is kill this clue before they draw a card off it. They gain some life, but if they can't stop me, then they lose. So let's not give them that option. All right, here we go. If they play like Tormod's Crypt right now, that'll be disappointing, but I think that was the tight play. Their hand is Swamp, Shieldred, 1 unknown. I'm just going to jam the shit here. Let's go. Goryo, Arden. Main phase. And they're dead. Cool. Well, that was a slugfest in a very interesting deck that we saw very little of. We'll take it. On to the trophy round. We're a few rounds into the video. If you're still here and having fun, remember to hit that subscribe button. And if you want to play what I'm playing, use code BOSH for 5% off your order at toamagic.com. Eternal lives here. I'm on the play in the final trophy round. I'm going to keep my hand full of setup and payoff, which are the 2 things my deck has. My plan is to fetch the Mortuary and then Rumble and hopefully go off on turn 3. A Flooded Strand. My greatest enemy. Haven't played against the counterspell yet. I don't know how to do that. Mortuary. Harden the Usurper straight into the graveyard. That's where I want him. It's pretty messed up when a Surveil End is just Entomb in your Reanimator deck. It's way more likely to happen here than it is in Legacy, where the Reanimator decks only play 2 targets. Still feels good, though. I think I am going to fetch Shock for Blood Crypt here, just to play around the possibility of the thing that happened last round where I milled my red sources and then my mana was a little bit wonky. I would like Verdant Catacombs in my hand, Ulamog the Deviler in the graveyard. Okay, I have the win next turn if I am uncontested. If they just like tap out for some garbage, like play a Johnny next turn, they lose. Meticulous Archive, a blue-white land. Disappointing. I was hoping this Flooded Strand was just some Boros or mono-white deck, but it looks like they actually have control cards. Oh, Witchbless Meadow. That's probably good news. This could just be the Esper build of Orzhov Sewer. All right, I'm going to fetch Basic Swamp in case this does turn out to be a quasi-creature adjacent matchup. All right, Emperor of Bones. Move to combat. Target Ulamog. I don't need to get Arden here, and Ulamog actually wins immediately, and it's a bigger punish if they kill Emperor right now, if I exile Arden. There's a pause. It feels like they have something here, but I'm committed at this point. Here we go. If they kill Emperor right now, oh wow, they just don't have anything? All right, well, I guess you're dead. Ward, sacrifice 2 permanents. Even if they Solitude this, they have no lands to continue playing with. All right, sweet. Sometimes you just send it into open mana, and it works. Witchbless Meadow is weird. I think this is Esper, Felia, something or other, not blue-white control, just based on that alone. Okay, an interesting note from the matchup guide provided by Avocado. He says that you don't need Arden to turn on Ulamog versus Ketramos decks, and Arden is specifically exploitable by these decks. I'm going to trust the guide, and I'm going to trust my intuition that this is a Felia deck. If Vexing Bauble gets Solitudes and Ephemerates off the table, Defense Grid lets me do what I want on my turn. Okay, let's go. The plan makes sense. I don't think I would have come to this plan on my own, but I'm going to trust the expert here. Okay, keep Marsh Flats. Shocking black mana reveal in game 2. All right, I'm getting Thought Seized. Probably Faithless Looting going here. Unless they want to let me loot. And if they take Goryos, then they probably have some graveyard hate. If they... Like, Faithless Looting is the most disruptive card to my hand right now, though. This deck also usually plays its own Emperor of Bones. So if they think they can... Like, if they take a Traxen now and then jam Emperor next turn, they have that under there. And I don't, even if they can't activate it right away. All right, Mortuary, get to work. Easy money. Please don't have an Emperor of Bones. Yeah, that's not Emperor of Bones. Not off that tap land, it isn't. Okay, so from this position, they would have to have some sort of graveyard hate or solitude. And solituding in Atrax is a terrible deal. They can't spell pierce me. Force negation would cost 2 cards. Okay, they just have surgical extraction. Well, that's really good because they know I also have an Atrax in my hand. I was never going to play around that. The coast was too juicy. Maybe they'll forget to click the one in the graveyard. The classic Magic Online strategy. They remember to click the one in the graveyard. Okay, that's fine. Now I can Faithless Loot away Ulamog next turn, work my way towards something with Shifting Woodland. I've got plans. Ashiok Game Ender, oh no, I'm cooked. That takes 2 of the cards out of my hand, all of the cards out of my graveyard. Yikes. All right, Faithless Looting's gone. Fetch lands don't work anymore. The opponent's got the hate this time around. I will continue to play this game for a little while, but I mostly think I'm dead. But if their hand was all hate and I find like a Fear of Missing Out or a Bone Zone and can just start attacking with fellas, then that's okay. All right, we're hitting land drops. Literally can't cast Ulamog with the deck, but I'm working on it. Meticulous Archive. They didn't like Fatal Push. They do like Overlord of the Baelmerk. I don't blame them. Solitude, Witch Enchanter, Emperor of Bones. Okay. I think this game's over, but I'm going to play it out for science. They got back Emperor of Bones. And deploying it, see if they bank a Solitude under there. Now Thoughtseize just kills me outright, because they get to hit me with my own Ulamog. Yeah, just targeting nothing. They'd rather have Solitude in the graveyard. Oh, how's that Solitude in the graveyard treating you? I'll take it. I would rather kill their Emperor than their Overlord here. This is also a pretty big attack on Ashiok. Sweet. Get that Emperor out of here. Put Ashiok to 1. And under pressure from a 4/4. Now we'll start playing out these fetch lands. That was a big draw. I mean, that's what I was saying, though. Emperor of Bones, Fear of Missing Out. This deck does have a ground game. They've got 2 cards in their hand. They could just cast Solitude on my turn, but I really hope they have nothing, or just, like, a bunch of surgical extractions. Goryo. I'll exile your Witch Enchanter. Keep making your deck worse. Attack Ashiok. Moment of Truth. I'm either going to get Solituded, or I'm going to be out of here. Okay, Celestial Purge. That's way better for me than Solitude would be. I'll probably hold this last fetch land in case I draw Fear of Missing Out. They definitely timed that a little wonky, though. Like, their deck just has a bunch of Graveyard Creature Recursion, and I got to Ether Witch Enchanter for free. Come on, deck. Bangers. Bangers. All right, Faithless Looting's not bad. Well, I could hit them with Ulamog right now if they have nothing. Okay, Faithless Looting. Discard Verdant Catacombs and Ulamog. Win the game, question mark? Wowie, it's in. We're in combat. I'm going to attack them. This is an Annihilate 7. And you wanted me to concede this game. Honestly, I think if they just put their own Solitude under Emperor of Bones, they would have dominated this game. But we found some outs. Now they're going to go to 2 and sacrifice all but 2 of their permanents. They probably keep a land and the Overlord. Oh, only 1 permanent. I gave them more credit than I needed to. Wow. All right, well, I think we're going to win this league now. Okay, this Ulamog goes away. I have Faithless Looting and another Ulamog in my hand. I have multiple Shifting Woodlands in play. Oh, they're still here. They're still gaming. Quantum Riddler, nice. Nice recovery. That's a good card to have when you only have 0 or 1 cards left. I'm going to crack some fetches here. These aren't helping me in play. I'll just get the remaining Shocklands out of my deck. There's some small consideration for Fatal Push, but right now I'm just trying to win the game. Faithless Looting. Okay. I think I want to discard one of these Ulamogs, but not the other. Oh, they're just dead, actually. I do have a fetchable land left, and this gives me double black. Any creature from the graveyard wins here. They have to Solitude this Emperor before we get into combat to not just lose. I'm actually going to take their Overlord of the Baelmerk, because it doesn't matter what it is. Any creature's lethal here, and if they do have hate or removal, I'd rather attack their graveyard than my own. Wow, I did not think we were winning that one. All right, hell yeah. Trophy with Jund Goryos. This deck was sweet. Just extremely redundant on what it's trying to do. There's no cute cards like Ephemerate or Force of Negation that are obviously powerful out of the Esper deck, and the Esper deck's proven. Like, I'm not saying the Esper deck's bad, because it's clearly not, but there's no really situational stuff here that is extremely good sometimes and extremely bad others. It's just like every single card slows down your opponent's plan, advances your own plan, or kills your opponent with a combo. The Faithless Lootings and Fear of Missing Out, the red cards, the reason to be Jund instead of Esper. Malevolent Rumble was phenomenal. Faithless Looting was solid. I'm not going to say phenomenal, but I understand that it's probably the best thing to do what it does here. Fear of Missing Out was definitely phenomenal, especially its interaction with Ardyn. And Ardyn was just dope as hell. Usually my question or concern when I'm sent a Reanimator deck that's doing something different than the proven Reanimator decks and doing something different than the proven best Reanimator targets is why? Is there a spot where reanimating Ardyn wins a game where reanimating Ulamog or Atraxa wouldn't? And the answer is a resounding yes in this build. The games where we got to sculpt like Faithless Looting, discarding Fear of Missing Out, bring back Ardyn, Ardyn brings back Fear, Fear triggers Ardyn multiple times, now I'm hitting with Atraxa as well. That was so sick and completely worth it. I don't think I got to Ardyn out of my opponent's graveyard at all in this league. I just don't think it came up. I definitely came out of my opponent's bone zone a few times, though. Being able to reach into the opponent's graveyard and get a second round, pretty awesome, though. Multiple times, Atraxa stayed in play for 3 turns as a 5/5, but I'd rather have a 5/5 for 3 turns than a 7/7 for 1. Really cool stuff. Great deck, Avocado. And King of the Depths, thank you for supporting and sending it in to share it with everybody. I hope everyone had fun. Thanks for watching. Remember to subscribe to the channel. Help me out. Check out the Patreon to support the channel, and I'll see you next time.